Welcome to Martial Arts Business Success. We're at episode 118. I'm Graham McDonald.
Phil Britton here, as always.
Wow, look, what we've got is some really exciting stuff. We're actually going to be entering into the next season of our podcasting. I think we mentioned this last time. We're going to be doing these short blocks, these 4-part series, to really give you a chance to get some themes to the content, to be able to dive in, share this with your staff, and really create some good conversation points.
Yeah, I think last block of 4 we were speaking about games and how games, or also known as drills, basically ways that your students and you can have fun in class. Because when people are having fun, well, they're going to be coming back. That's a massive part of retention. So make sure if you haven't heard them, or you would like to, go back and check out those 4-part series on games and drills in your class.
All right.
Brad, what have we got, mate?
This particular season episodes, we got 4 in the series, are all about maximising your assistant instructors. Now, what that means is there are definitely schools out there that have students on the floor helping out, but they end up creating more headaches than what they're worth. They end up getting in the way, or they don't quite do the right thing, or just simply miss the ball and they're not proactive. So
I'm just visualising those moments being a lead instructor and your assistants are doing nothing, and you're like, so you're having to look after the students and the assistants. And you're just pulling your hair out and you're going, there must be a better way.
The wheels can fall off very, very quickly. But before we get into the nuts and bolts, I guess, on the floor stuff, what are some of the tips and strategies about maximising assistance prior to class starting, mate?
Yeah, well, and we will be speaking about before, during and after class, and that's probably how our series will end up. But there's a range of things that you should be doing, or your assistants should be doing, and that you should be teaching your assistants to do. And if you're not, well, you need to follow and maybe look at our instructor program, because it teaches step by step on how to do this. But the main thing is your assistants should have an awareness and an ability to build rapport and make some sort of effort and contact to the members, whether they're newies in their new class, beginner class, or even if you're in advanced class. While their students are sitting there waiting, if you can either communicate and build rapport with the current students, whether they're kids or adults, and if they are kids and they've got parents, the assistant instructors, some of our older teens do a really, really good job at networking and communicating with the parents as well.
Look, well and truly. Now, we have the luxury where assistants are there at the start of the day, so they get to sit down with the kids straight after school hours, just before the classes start, boom, and away you go. But when we're back-to-back with our classes, we often say, they need to have that moment of that interaction with parents or whatnot. Sometimes it isn't a 3-hour conversation. Sometimes it's a simple hello, engage by name, a simple wave or whatever it may be, or great to see you back today.
Yep.
This sort of stuff, both from a student point of view and a parent point of view, is really where it's at. But let's also scale that up a little bit to the adult class, because, I know that with our assistant instructors in the adult program, they're not always booked for 3 hours in a row like our junior guys can be. Sometimes an adult will just maybe come in for that 1 or 2 classes to assist with. So they have the opportunity to walk off the floor, say hello to the new people before their class starts.
Yeah.
And man, that's a great place to be in, when they're just simply going up, being genuine and caring, and say, g'day, how you going? Is it your first class? Are you a bit nervous tonight? So that's something that may seem easy for some, but I know that in most situations, you've got to probably role play this or give them some guidance on what to say. There's nothing worse than that awkward silence, or the intentions were there, but they didn't quite pull it off completely.
Yeah. I was just thinking on almost a flip side, completely the same strategy. So let's say we've got a class happening, right? We're back-to-back classes, so there's no moments where the instructors, assistants or whatever can network because they should be in class. But it's about giving your assistants the leeway or the time to go and have that little quick sort of drive-by chat to the parents or kids. Or I was just thinking what works really well for me is if I've set my class up really well with my assistants, then can take the last part of the drill, the warm down or cool down and all that type of stuff. Then I, as a lead instructor, can go over and have those little power 30-second, 1-minute chats to the student. And that's where you're going to actually... we all speak about martial arts and getting someone with their guard down. Well, when you're on floor, they're there for them, and we've got to deliver impactful classes in the way we should. But when you're over there and they're in their moment of before class, they're not talking to anyone, then that's a moment in time where you can approach them, and maybe they'll let you know like how they're feeling, how's work, how's family, how's life, and you're now building rapport on a greater level. and also can pre-see if there's any dangers in that person's martial arts journey.
Oh, look, for sure. And look, what you're talking about here, mate, is once you've got your dream team assistants on point, you have the luxury to do that. So I guess it's making sure these strategies are going to help you to get those assistants on point, so it gives you the freedom to do so. Now, there's one actual thing that we do as well, which is kind of cool, is before class, especially in a beginner program when you've got new kids coming all the time, is making sure the assistants are cluey enough to go up and say good day, say hello, make them feel welcome, but also potentially partner them or introduce them to some of the other kids in the group. So it's those little things there that are great, because as the instructor, the main leader, Phil, I'm sure you know this, we're probably off speaking to the parents.
Yeah.
So the assistants are making sure the kids are having that good, enjoyable moment. This is all about before the class starts, or if you're back-to-back, when you've got to double up at classes, being able to have that freedom to walk off the floor and make sure the next class is set up, ready to rock and roll as well too.
That's right. So that whole moment before class, there's many points of it, and we're going to be talking about building rapport as well.
Yeah.
And I know one of our good friends, Dave Kovar, I think he may have came up with a 3 times rule. Well, we like to times that by a trillion, and I heard you say, we like to do the 333 times rule.
Yep.
And it's about how can we make contact verbally, physically, emotionally, mentally, in various different forms throughout their journey from the before, during, and after, but especially in that before part. How can we welcome them to the class? High fives, taps on the shoulders. How was your day? How was school? All those things are just about trying to find out a bit more about them. And that assistant can play that role. It definitely alleviates a lot of the pressure for the lead instructor. And then later on, if that assistant instructor is quite cluey, so maybe they're a bit of a teen or a bit more experienced in their journey, they can then bring that feedback, say, like little Johnny said he's losing interest,
Yeah, great idea. And look, I suppose that's that you can't be in every place at every moment, but you've got a great team. They can certainly help you steer and navigate some of these challenges. And this is all about gathering information, and that happens through conversation and dialogue and whatnot. Now, mate, I had the pleasure of helping out a couple of business owners recently, and I know they had some issues with before the class type stuff and assistants maybe amping the kids up in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, we're talking about maximising your instructors, all good and well to get them revved up, but what are some of the things that you probably need to avoid potentially even before that start of class,
Yeah, look, there's nothing worse if you do have those back-to-back classes and you've got your next class waiting and they're loud, they're, talking, they're, there's just takes away from what's actually happening. And the kids who are in your actual class, they're now paying attention to over there.
Yeah.
So, those, I know when I've done it before and I see some of our assistants do it as well, you can play little games and little drills with those kids that are over the sides. Like, all right, we've got a class starting in 3 minutes. We've got a 1 minute challenge. I want you to find a piece of wall. I want you to stare at it. I want to look at the best focus, back straight, all that type of stuff. And create those little games about it. And the parents looking and go, that's awesome, they're quiet, these guys have got them in control.
Yep.
The class that's operating is going to be happy because they're not being rowdy. And you're also setting that student up who's about to get on the floor to get them in the right frame of mind.
Couldn't agree more. One other thing that you can do through dialogue and conversation, maybe even chat to the kids about the events that are coming up, or again, even the adults that are coming out. They smooze and they cruise around. So they really are a great delivery system for you, depending on the age and their rank and their ability to get the information out there. Because if you've got to do a class promotion at the end of class about a particular event or a party or something like that coming up, well, maybe they can see that, go, hey, did you guys know about the such and such event? Man, you got to book in, you got to get ready, we're going to be talking all about it today. So pre-framing, I think we say this a lot in different sort of instructor circles and programs, but it's something your assistants, given that they're allowed to do that, man, utilise them, definitely.
100%. So is there anything else that we've sort of missed, Graham? Like we're talking about before class, and it could be a new member, it could be an existing member. How can our assistants best utilise their time to make it easy for us?
Look, it's about making sure that we give them the permission to also be interactive and helpful and friendly. Sometimes I go, look, I'm not allowed to go and speak to that parent or that student or that new person because, I've got a job to do over here. It's making sure that I think to maximise, you've also got to set out clear expectations for these guys on what they can and can't do. Walking off halfway through the middle of class just to go and have a chat, you'd probably be like, hang on, what's going on? But there's that window of like, hey, yes, I'm happy for you to do that.
Yeah.
So I think clarity on that, expectations laid out, and really then just encourage them to be that friendly person. I think that's going to be key. Like I said, we're just touched on before class.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to all the good stuff on the floor yet. So that's coming in this next episode coming up very shortly.
Awesome, guys. Well, look, we're forever giving you guys the best advice that we can. So remember, if you have any specific hurdle, challenge, obstacle, or topic that you'd like us to discuss, you're more than welcome to send them in. You can send that in through our email address, admin@tima.com.au. And also, don't forget, guys, we have the TIMA Mastermind, which is a community of like-minded martial arts business owners, managers, anyone really in the martial arts industry who wants to network with people. You get access to Graham and I live Q&A weekly, and there's plenty of other resources as well. So somewhere around where you're watching or listening to this podcast or a video blog, there'll be a link and you can get a $1 trial. Usually it's $47 a month, and you get a $1 trial. Check it out, see if it's for you. If it's good fit, great. But I think for me personally, the success is only success when it's shared. And if we can help you get a couple of runs on the board, great. And maybe you can even help someone within the community, then it's even better.
Hey, I'd love to hear how you guys go with what you're doing. If you've got any extra tidbits you want your help with to maximise your assistants, if you're killing it and they're just off the hook, share that, let us know, let the rest of the team know, and we'd love to obviously give you kudos for that, but obviously love to hear what you guys are up to.
All right, guys, well, that's it for this particular podcast. We'll see you in the next episode where we'll be elaborating a little bit more on how to deal with your assistant instructors in class.